Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I missed you so much.
It's been like forever.
Just a couple of weeks, but it still feels like I missed you a ton. I miss you. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
Okay.
Trying to get my...
Oh, mine's not. Mine just comes on. I'm Iris Forcier. That's Sherilyn Chapman.
She beat me.
And we're Coffee and a Podcast. And oh my God, look at this beautiful cup.
Oh,
How beautiful.
Mine
She
says,
got me this. It's so beautiful. What does yours say?
Mine says
Cold
hands, warm heart.
Oh.
Working through a head thing this morning. But
Yeah,
look at
how
your
was
froth. She's got like this mega creamy coffee.
Yummy.
And
Sherilyn made me this. It's so delicious.
Well, you're very, very welcome.
Thank you
My
so
coffee.
much.
Hers is...
Usually I bring mine, but today...
Yours is a Starbucks Blonde Instant.
Yes,
and
I
then
love it.
I'm just doing the old Brazil Nescafe.
Brazil.
Works really fast and easy. So
Yeah, instant coffee. I love instant coffee. I mean, we do regular coffee too when we're out and about. Obviously
out and about. She was up in Canada.
Yeah,
so
I went
she
through
picked
the
up a little bit
Canadian
of
waters. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's gonna tell us a story later, right?
Yeah, later on the mini.
Yeah, she's been gone on a
I'll show pictures on the
cruise.
mini too. Yeah,
7 day cruise.
8 day. 7 day. Yeah, 7
to Alaska.
Yeah.
And I got goodies.
Yeah.
Got Alaska huckleberry jam.
Oh, it's my favorite huckleberry.
And because we talk about being kind, this is awesome and kind.
Awesome and
because
kind.
you guys are awesome and kind.
That's right. And as soon as I saw
you're
that,
awesome and we're
of course
kind.
I thought about.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to these last couple of weeks? I haven't seen you. You
just been
Tasmanian devil.
Oh yeah, see the kind of look he's given? That's kind of the way my head is right now.
I'm sorry.
No, this actually I tried it on. It was my son's because Dave, my deceased husband, this was his favorite character.
Oh, the Tasmanian.
And so I'd given it to, I bought it for Alex back in the day.
Yeah.
And
wow,
he doesn't fit it anymore, and I'm surprised that I fit it because this is a medium.
Snagging things.
So, yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna wear it for a while and go from there. But
sorry, I've entered my own world.
You what?
I could just sit here and entertain myself.
That's why we
I need more coffee.
It's been a very blustery day. I will tell you, I have been stressed. We've had the high winds.
Yeah.
No,
oh yeah.
And the dog was freaking out. No, I need to do that.
If you need help,
what she means is I've got to pull together because everything was on the laptop that died. Yeah. So now I've got to go find the pictures, which I think I have them somewhere else.
Sincerely, if you need to go door knocking or just pay for it out of pocket.
I do. I have to I got to go to Staples, get all the packets together, and then I want to do that next week.
Get those trees down because we have entered fall. We are in the Pacific Northwest, and we have definitely entered fall.
My dog was going crazy with that wind because it winds up to like 45 miles an hour.
Sherilyn had her house completely destroyed with 10 trees, and it was
the garage.
Very traumatic. Well, it spared the garage, but
it was pretty crazy.
Couldn't live in there; it was too small. But
too full of other stuff. That's all about the podcast.
I was being generous.
She's being nice. I was opening up the closet and showing the truth of the reality. But all these hurricanes and all these storms has really brought that all back up and just it's pretty great. We're very fortunate. I mean, these people they lost their houses.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not smiling.
Yeah.
Laughing at that.
No. Oh,
of course not.
Of course not.
But I did something. I caught my eye out of the corner of my eye over there. What is that white fluffy thing next to the golden pumpkin?
Oh, like what?
Golden.
I'll show you guys. It's just
I just caught my eye and I was like distracted.
Just some of my. This is what she's wanting to see. Well, it's just some decor for staging.
Does it smell good?
I'll spray some stuff on it. No.
Okay. Well, sorry. I had that squirrel moment. Is that a golden pumpkin too? You don't have to get up.
Yes, I am so distracted this morning. You've got pumpkins all behind you. But this is the golden pumpkin.
That is cool. Okay, so I love that.
That's my golden pumpkin.
I love it.
So yes, we've got a little bit of
fall. Oh God,
a little bit of
cute
fall going on here.
You are so good at decorating. So if anyone ever needs a decorator,
I love it. It's fun.
She's amazing,
and it didn't break the bank either. So that's the fun thing I like to do.
That is the fun thing, and I apologize ahead if I sneeze or my nose starts running because for some reason my allergies, my fall allergies kicked in yesterday when I got home, and it wasn't a cold. I do not have a cold.
Well, you're changing from being in Alaska. She was up in Alaska.
Yeah.
And then they came through Canada.
And I don't know what pollen is flying around, so I do apologize.
Yeah.
Yes, apologies.
Mine's just a barometer migraine because the weather keeps changing and the high winds. And so this is
awful.
This is my horrible season. But anyway, we're going to be all bright and...
we're back.
My gosh.
Yeah, well.
I've got to... but what's her name? So now I've got to go see if I can see it.
I'm drinking.
We got our very first comment.
Oh my God, and you can email us at coffeeandapodcast3@gmail.com.
But this was off of your episode, your last episode.
What was that? On 15? Or?
If I can.
We're already up to episode 27 now. Yeah. But we're getting them out. We've already recorded, so we're getting them out. We're pretty excited. And we keep studying and researching and...
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They should still be going. I'm just trying to...
And you know what? Sometimes I think it would be better if we had like research assistants, but I'm not so sure because once you read all the material, you really get engrossed in learning and reading the books about people or articles or whatnot.
I can't find it.
That's okay.
Because
we'll find it later.
Got the GoPro. But we will announce this person. I want to say it's...
Lucky Duck? No, I'm just kidding.
No. It's very cute.
Buckle Up Buttercup.
Her thing is, her catchline is Buckle Up.
Maybe not. Well, you didn't hear anything.
Yeah. We're just very excited. Thank you for kind words.
Thank you so
much.
They're
telling us, doing a great job.
Giving us some tips
glad we
lighting.
Stopped to, ran across us.
Yeah.
And
someone mentioned mics, but we're working on that. But we're having fun.
Yeah.
So.
But the lighting, they just wanted us to have, more light on our faces.
Oh,
maybe I don't want you to see me.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're very, very grateful. So keep those comments coming. We love it.
I don't want you to see all my wrinkles.
Yeah.
I mean, you can if you want to.
You can. You can zoom in. You can take the picture, zoom it in.
These are all experience.
Exactly. Yep. These are all wisdom wrinkles. Mm-hmm. But who are we doing today?
Oh my God. Well, before I tell you who we're doing, let me put my glasses on.
Here we go.
We're going to do a little backstory because I didn't have a ton of material on this person, even though she was an ancient trailblazer.
Oh.
But I thought it important to note the time of reference, to create a story, sort of tell you. So anyway, our source notes today for Rome, because it was in ancient Rome, and Pompeii. Ancient Rome and Pompeii by Mary Pope Osborne and Natalie Pope Boyce. And if I butcher any names, apologies abound.
Yes.
If I were a kid in ancient Rome from Cricket Books, because I love kids' books.
Yes.
Projects about ancient Rome by Karen Frankel, and always Wikipedia. This is just my source notes on...
Sorry, I turn off my volume.
What is it? Source notes is on... Source notes is... Source notes
Take 3.
Source notes on Rome. Okay, so
go.
Rome, where my next person became famous and where she hailed from. And that's appropriate.
Nice.
Term. You hail. However, not hail, no, but
not hail no. Hail no. That's I love to say that. Hail
However, before delving into her life, a little backstory. Here we go. Which is so cool. Well, kind of. So many good things came out of Rome. A lot of bad things too, but a lot of good things.
A lot of beautiful.
We're gonna get into that.
Architecture.
Yeah, so much.
Architecture is amazing.
Rome was founded over 3,000 years ago. Farmers and fishermen settled on the hills near the riverbanks, which is now known as Italy. So we could a lot of people are descendants of people from Rome. It's pretty amazing.
Wow.
There's a whole list of people that
I'm a princess.
You are? You're descendant?
I'm descendants of royalty.
From where? You never told me.
We just found this out. In Danish royalty. As we're, yes.
Oh, you are perfect for that.
So,
I love that. I want to know
I'm
more
the
later.
good princess.
Do you know what?
Come on, not the bad princess.
Let's both do our DNA thingy, and then we'll do a podcast on that. Why not? That'd be fun.
That'd be crazy.
Like our where our origins
come from.
Anyway, so imagine.
My brother had. A lot of my family already has, which is cool. But go ahead.
What you can now imagine is Italy, where we all want to go and eat good food. We can imagine the farmer and the fisherman settled on the hills near the river banks, which is now known as Italy. They were trading salt and other goods to tribes. It's kind of cool to imagine. Everybody was just trading stuff. But then Rome went later to conquer more land. They were conquerors, for sure. It was quite spread out over 2.5 million square miles.
Wait, how many?
Yeah. The Romans ruled.
How many?
200 million.
200
Wait,
million?
I'm sorry. Let me read.
200 million?
Over 2.5 million.
Wow.
Yeah, they went from, like, if you look at the map of the ancient Romans,
just think of that. That's
some
huge.
of Germany, Africa, Egypt, like the tips of those places. So
wow, that's a lot of land.
they were really explorers and conquerors.
Yeah.
The Romans ruled included Egyptians. I just changed. You are now an Egyptian. You're an Egyptian.
We're just inventing our own language.
This morning
it's okay. We both have this head thing, so please
Jews,
forgive us.
Greeks,
Hers are
Germans,
sinus, mine's the migraine.
Celts, and Syrians. So they kind of ruled everyone. But it was kind of good because a lot of good things. Yeah, well, you weren't. They started out with kings, got sick of that, and went on to develop the Roman Republic.
Okay. Wow.
They started the Senate as we know it today in modern times.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I know, and it's kind of cool because they had like a law system they came up with. Then in 27 BC to 476 AD came the age of emperors.
Oh.
And if anyone wants to know, you can Google.
So it was kings, then it was emperors?
Yep, it was kings, and then it became emperors.
And then dictators.
And,
Anyway.
And, so anyway, but if you want to know more, you can look up the terminology before Christ. They would call it BC, or they now call it before Common Era. Or
I don't
crap! I just forgot it. I'm so sorry. Well, you can look it up. BC, and then AD is after the death. Anyway, they were separated into different classes. 3 groups: the patricians. And I even said it right because I spelled it out. I think. I mean, who knows?
I'm sure you did.
Plebeians, and slaves. Patricians were rich citizens who owned land and had many slaves. Many patricians were powerful leaders in government or the military. They owned everything. The plebeians were not patricians. They were mostly ordinary Roman citizens, such as shopkeepers and craftsmen. Some plebeians were wealthy, but in the beginning of the Republic, they did not have as much power as the patricians. But they did rise up above that eventually. Oh, wow. There were also many poor plebeians. I don't know, I misspelled that one. Whatever. In Rome without jobs. They depended on the charity of the patricians, like sponsors, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
This changed, however, and slaves made up most of the populations. They had no rights and were not allowed to vote.
That's so sad.
So moving on, the Romans, they invented concrete, which we all love. Who doesn't love a good concrete? Around 200 BC.
I'm like, I didn't have a comment to that. Yes, we all love concrete.
Well, you know, because it's structural and it's good stuff.
No, it's amazing. I wonder who that person was and how they did it.
I don't know if it says specifically, but it says there's an actual recipe for how to make concrete.
Yeah, you can make your own concrete.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not a lot easier just to go get the
But
brick
some of these
stuff.
structures are still standing.
Yeah,
their
that's what's so amazing.
Yeah,
that's what I just.
Their architecture is amazing with their giant columns and giant statues.
Yep.
There is a saying that Rome was not built in a day. Well, it took years to carve out giant slabs of marble and concrete work.
That stuff.
They were busy people.
They were busy.
They had built over 200 major roads. That was impressive to me. That would stretch out from Britain to Egypt. There is also another saying that all roads
from
lead
Britain
to Rome.
Egypt.
Yeah.
All roads lead to. Oh, that's where that came from.
All roads lead to Rome, and back then they did.
Wow.
Some other famous characters that came from Rome, such as Julius Caesar, Octavius, Cleopatra, Mark Antony, and Pompey blew up, burying families in place. It was really sad. They also worshipped gods, too many to mention them all.
Oh, yeah.
But a couple of them you recognize, some of them you wouldn't. There's so many. The god of war, Mars, god of love, Venus, Neptune, the god of the sea, and many, many others. So they grew up with that time frame, right?
Yeah.
And they grew up with oil lamps and braziers, coal-burning devices. And I was trying to imagine what that would be like if we didn't have power. We would have to rely. Yeah. You have?
No, I've been thinking about that. Like we do have some kerosene lamps somewhere, but that's pretty impressive if you think way back then.
And all the things they accomplished.
They did this. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
It is impressive.
Yeah.
No more modern conveniences, but they did have bathhouses where most everyone would go to bathe together and communal toilets. A couple of the wealthier families had private, but they came up with that whole like sewer system. I mean, during that time frame, what an amazing time frame.
Yeah, they were very, very smart.
The Romans truly bought so much to modernize the world, from the calendar as we know it now, math, science, philosophy, bridges, cities, and many languages, including Latin, which is a lot of our languages have root words in.
Didn't they do stars too? Weren't they into the stars?
Yeah, astronomy, everything. Yeah. There was a long age. Wow. It was the end of the empire as Rome knew it in 476 AD, because some German tribes swept down and changed the landscape. Also, we get into the story of my character, who is a woman. In her time, girls would leave school at the age of 12 to prepare for marriage and running a home.
12.
Whilst
12
the boys
people, 12.
could stay to continue their education.
That's crazy.
So that's just a little backstory of my person that I'm doing.
I feel like I'm there right now in Rome, and
yes, and she was 3. They were vague. It was 350 or 370 to 415
it's hard
AD.
when you're talking about these.
But she was famous. She was well known. So her name is Hypatia, or they didn't pronounce the H, so Hypatia. 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 Or some people might pronounce it Hypatia, or, everyone has a
depends on
where you are.
Where you are, what culture you are.
But a lot of people say it as Hypatia. Sources for today's episode are Wikipedia and an article by Kimberly Miller from Medium.
Thank you, Kimberly.
By the way, I highly recommend her writings. She does a lot of various writings that I read through, some briefly, on her other works, and have developed a deep appreciation for her writings. Hypatia sounds like Hypatia in ancient Greek Egyptian times. I believe the H was silent, sounds like Hypatia. But I will go with the comfort of modern times, Hypatia. Hypatia was born sometimes between 350 to 370 AD in Alexandria, Egypt. But it was so sad. She was brutally killed, though, however, in 415 AD, or common era. No, both say the same thing. Common or current era. However, before her light was extinguished, she accomplished much. She was a prominent thinker in Alexandria, where she taught philosophy, astronomy, and was a great mathematician of her time. Wow. She was amazing, and she taught at the Neoplatonic school. I might be saying that wrong. Neoplatonic school in Alexandria, Egypt. She was probably influenced by her father, as she was born to a famously brilliant mathematician and philosopher, Theon of Alexandria.
I kill such a prominent
I'm
person.
going to get to that. It's so crazy, you know, how threatened people are by a female back then.
This is true.
But they weren't.
This is true. I didn't
The
think
owner
about
and
that.
teacher, so Theon was an owner and teacher of an exclusive school. It was highly conservative and very prestigious school. Nothing is said of her mother and no claims to siblings. So they mostly talked about her father. It was like the mother she doesn't get any credit for some reason, I don't know. She is famous for being the greatest mathematician and astronomer of her time. I mean, she was no
That's
slouch.
like Steve Hawkins. I mean, like
Yeah.
that would be that type of
Person.
Yeah.
But she got, you know, like I said, her light put out. It was too sad. Being the leader of the Neoplatonist school of philosophy in Alexandria, for spectacularly overcoming the profound sexism of the society and for suffering a violent death of the hand of ignorant zealots. It was unfortunately the zealots. I'll get to that. Hypatia was someone who followed the philosophy of Plato, which would likely be why she claimed celibacy, as many Platonists believed in abolishing the traditional family and institution of marriage. So she was
abolishing marriage?
Yeah, she didn't want to get married. She didn't want to be that 12-year-old that went off to school to prepare for marriage. Oh, okay. She wanted to be educated. She wanted to learn.
Yeah.
So we imagine what it must have been like to live in Egypt in the 4th century AD. And what is Neoplatonist?
Yeah.
Neoplatonism is a school of philosophical thought that developed in the Roman Empire from the 3rd to 5th century CE. Common error. It is based on the philosophy of Plato, but also incorporates ideas from other schools such as Aristotle. Oh my goodness, what a word.
Aristotle?
Aristotelian. Post-Aristotelian and Eastern philosophy. The term Neoplatism was coined in the mid-19th century by German scholars to distinguish the ideas that later Greek and Roman Platonists from Plato's own. I get it. So they were just distinguishing the difference. Or, you know.
Right.
Neoplatonists believed human perfection and happiness were obtainable in this world without awaiting an afterlife. So in other words, they're like perfection and happiness seen as synonymous. In other words, be happy now. Right. Don't wait for heaven. Just be happy. Could be achieved through philosophical contemplation. All people return to one from which they emanated. Yeah, we don't know.
Emanated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've heard of that word? She's just making this up. I don't know that word. Emanate. Well, where they come from.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There was a lot going on at the time. Lots of learning and lots of wonder of the world. And Hypatia was in the throes of it as a teacher and a forever learner. That really resonates with me.
Yes, because I know we like to learn.
Yeah, we love to learn. So we're forever learners.
Big font, because otherwise I couldn't see the word.
I know. I have to type it in big font. I had to, all our reports, I type out mine and I have to have big font.
Yeah, I know.
Even with glasses, readers, I still.
Yeah.
So some have speculated that her IQ was between 170 and 210.
Holy Toledo.
She was super smart.
Super smart.
She is thought to be the first in her field. She refused to wear traditional women's clothes when teaching. She wore scholars' robes instead, like the other teachers.
Oh.
It is also said that she made difficult scientific and mathematical concepts easier to understand for many students. Oh, I love that kind of teacher. When they go, and they make things,
They break it down for you.
They break it down.
They make it simple.
Yes.
And someone just didn't like her conventional ways,
No,
I guess.
they didn't, and that'll come up.
Wow.
So for many students, she made things understandable, and they loved her for it. And she was influential for modern theories of astronomy.
Yeah.
Thanks to Hypatia, women had a public voice for the first time and proved that they could have intelligent thoughts just like men did. Her notes in math and astronomy helped modern mathematicians and astronomers come up with advanced theories that are still used today. As one of the world's leading thinkers back then, she built a tool called an astrolabe. Astrolabe.
Astrolabe?
Astrolabe.
I think it's an astrolabe.
Yeah, I think it is too. To measure the positions of stars and planets. Wow. I mean, this is like 1,600 years ago, right?
Wow.
I think.
Steve Hawking would like to talk to her.
Well, this is interesting. I got her name through Neil deGrasse Tyson because that was one of his favorite. Because he's into that,
Exactly.
And so her contribution was amazing. She also helped her father in his research of this dude in Euclid's Elements. She wrote about Apollonius of Perga. She wrote an article of Diophantus of Alexandra's Arithmetic. Her legacy in her school of philosophy, science, and mathematics. She knew the importance of developing and preserving these subject matters. She was the first woman to make significant advances in these fields as an inventor and an engineer.
Wow.
She was amazing.
Can you think of, think about when you bring people back.
Yeah.
Like if you could bring people back.
Oh, I'd love to.
Just imagine what she would think first and think of what she would do.
Yeah, she. Yeah.
Wow, she was way.
She perhaps aided or reinvented the astrolabe for ship navigation devices for measuring the density of fluids.
Wow.
She worked on algebraic equations in conic sections. She was renowned in her own lifetime as a great teacher and a wise counselor. I have some little tidbits about her too after I read this.
Wow, I would have never known about her, so thank you.
So I wouldn't have known about her if Neil deGrasse Tyson wouldn't have mentioned her as one of his favorites. So
of course that's her favorite, so you got to check out what his favorites are.
That's exactly right. Hypatia was never married as she was wedded to the truth. She was an acquaintance of Orestes. He was the pagan governor of Alexandria. Orestes fell in love with Hypatia for her intelligence and beauty. Mm-hmm. Committed to her work and celibacy, Hypatia turned down his advances, but the two remained close. It is said that she was beautiful and shapely.
We don't have no pictures of her.
I know.
No,
well, do I have one in here?
Maybe.
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe. Well, a concept. I think they drew a concept.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's true.
You see, so she turned him down. She was beautiful. You see, Hypatia was loved by Alexandria. There are many myths about her reputation, but the truth is she was honored and appreciated by the diverse citizens of Alexandria, the government, and the church. Many people believe that her murder was actually the beginning of the end of scientific development in Alexandria because it's sad.
I feel like it's Lady Di all over again.
Yeah.
But
although Hypatia was a pagan, she was tolerant of Christians. In fact, every one of her students were Christians.
Oh, wow.
One of her most prominent pupils was Cynthus of Cyrene, who went on to become a bishop of I love these names. Ptolemais, now in Libya, in 410. In 412, the bishop of Alexandria ordered the destruction of what he deemed a pagan temple. Although Hypatia's teaching were not religious, some Christians saw them as pagan. Her views became less accepted in the city. In the March of 415, a group of extreme Christians murdered her. This is heavy duty, so if you don't want to hear something,
close to
a mob.
But we can't rewrite history. This is true, and we have to learn from these things that you're bringing up. Thank you. Go ahead.
A mob of Christian zealots, led by Peter the Lector, accosted a woman's carriage and dragged her from and into a church where they stripped her and beat her to death with roofing tiles. After tearing her body into pieces, they took her mangled limbs to a place called Cinaron, and they burnt them. Later, the mob dragged her through the streets and scattered her remains throughout the whole city. Some reports say that she was killed because they envied her outstanding wisdom, especially regarding astronomy. Throughout the centuries, people have made plays and told stories, but one profound one stood out to me. Voltaire. In his Examen, Important de Milford, Bolingbroke, it's all in French, ou le tombeau de fantaisie.
I don't speak French, but she does.
1736, he did a play, interpreted Hypatia as a believer in the laws of rational nature.
Wow.
And the capacities of the human mind free of dogmas. Dogmas are when we are just one way. And described her death as a bestial murder perpetrated by Cyril's tonsured hounds, with a fanatical gang at their heels. Later, in an entry for his Dictionnaire philosophique, Voltaire again portrayed Hypatia as a free-thinking, deistic genius brutally murdered by ignorant and misunderstanding Christians.
That's so sad.
Most of the entry ignores Hypatia altogether, and instead deals with a controversy over whether or not Cyril was responsible for her death. Voltaire concludes with the snide remark, "When one strips beautiful women naked, it is not to massacre them." R.I.P. And I hope reincarnated into another badass.
Yeah.
And that's what I think of Hypatia. But I have some little tidbits.
I just hope she went fast.
I did too. I'm sure she did. But it's like,
That
I
sounds-
just hope that we
unbelievable.
can learn from that we shouldn't be so zealoty. This might be a good picture, but I'll show you. So she had powerful allies all over the empire and a slew of civic honors. By contrast, Cyril was unwanted and disliked. Finding himself at an impasse, he stewed in jealous rage against Hypatia, viewing her as the primary obstacle blocking his reconciliation with Orestes, who she was close with. Who was Hypatia's friend? Who was she friends with? Cyril's main rival was Orestes, the governor who was friends with Hypatia. Believing that Hypatia's philosophy influenced how Orestes governed the city, a group of Cyril's followers killed Hypatia when she was giving a public lecture in 415 AD. So she's basically doing a TED Talk. And they killed her. It's just horrible. Orestes, student of Hypatia. Orestes is aristocrat who like Davos, falls in love with her and has strong friendship with Hypatia. Isaac was familiar with the history of early Christianity during the period represented in the film, but like Weiss, he had not heard of Hypatia before joining the project. They have done many films on her. And
I would like to, I'd like to go check into that.
I would like to read the thing from Voltaire. That would be amazing. What gods did Hypatia worship? She did not identify as Christian, but rather pagan, taking the title of Old State Religion of Rome, though not worshipping any deity or pantheon in particular. She worshipped the divine through her Neo-Platonist ideas, but never judged an individual for having a different faith.
Wow.
She was amazing. Like, no judgment. When we say no judgment, no judgment.
No judgment.
She is thought to be the first female mathematician, philosopher, and astronomer. She refused to wear traditional clothes when teaching, and we talked about she wore robes. Oh, and her name is also spelled Hypatia as well. And this is the last one, a quote from her. Men have called me mad, but the question is not yet settled whether madness is or is not the loftiest intelligent, whether much that is glorious.
Wow.
Life is an unfoldment, and the further we travel, the more truth we can comprehend. And that is the story of Hypatia.
Wow, there's a little
in Rome.
That's
very
crazy.
little, very small though.
Well, it's a beautiful picture of her. She's
it's really small though. Sorry,
very small. Don't know if you guys. No. But you can maybe
Google
see
and
her.
Look up some stories about her. And I just thought she was a worthy nod. And
oh my goodness!
Influence during that time, who brought us many things as we know today. And you know,
oh wow!
And it shouldn't matter what our pronouns are, whatever that means. I haven't learned that completely, but whatever our pronouns are, it should not matter.
No,
we are all here with gifts, and we're sharing. And
the disappointing thing is that, and I'm sensitive in the head today. the person wasn't doing anything wrong. They
No,
weren't being malicious. They weren't they were doing nothing but good and teaching. Education, but not education the way, like she said, she wasn't true to any particular god or things like that. She was teaching math. She was teaching astronomy, all of those wonderful things.
She was a geek.
And then and then to have her so savagely murdered for, I mean, she wasn't, you know what I mean? So I guess that's what is so sad.
It is.
But we're
really
very grateful because it sounds like without her, we wouldn't have
had some of those tools.
Those tools that she was doing. Yeah,
I think that a lot of her work was destroyed because once countries start fighting, even now today, things are destroyed. You know, for bombs and stuff in other countries. You know where rich history is, and I think hers was a fire. They set fire to all this beautiful, amazing education that we could be looking at. But I think it was handed down though through students, which is good.
Sure, which is great.
Which is good, right? That we have teachings of what people were up to.
Wow, thank you for that.
That is the story of Hypatia.
Hypatia, and her last name is...
They don't have a
They don't have a last name. It's just Hypatia. So if you were to go...
She was Hypatia
of Alexandria.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
So if you want to Google her and
look her up,
and look up. We'll have to look up some
I
plays.
hope she did reincarnate. I'd like to believe in that, and I'd like to believe she was like kicking butt.
Maybe she came back into Hatfield.
Warrior.
You know, it's
we never know.
It's and it is interesting. You did touch on an important thing that during that culture and even now today, it gets repressed when women are of a certain intelligence, and so
which is weird because we're on the planet together.
Yeah,
and we're
here for good.
Yeah, we don't dismiss whether it's male or female. We don't care.
Right.
Who it is that gives us the education. Like I was on that cruise, and I have to tell you, I had amazing teachers, which I'll share with you.
Yeah, we're going to do that in the mini